The Whisper of the Tides. On the eastern coast of Japan, nestled between the deep blue Pacific and the rugged pine-studded hills, lay the small fishing village of Hamamatsu. For generations, its lifeblood had been the sea. Boats with weathered hulls bobbed in the harbor, their nets smelling of salt and their crews seasoned by sun and spray. A lighthouse, a stoic sentinel, had guided them home through countless storms. But then came the day the sea turned monstrous. Not with a typhoon, but with a shuddering groan from the earth itself. The great wave, a towering wall of water, swallowed Hamamatsu whole. When it receded, it left behind a landscape of twisted metal, shattered wood, and a silence more deafening than any storm. The lighthouse, though battered, stood as a solitary, defiant monument amidst the ruin. Among the survivors was Kenji, an old fisherman whose hands bore the scars of 1,000 nets hauled. He had lost his home, his boat, and most painfully, his wife, swept away by the merciless tide. His spirit, like the village, seemed broken. He sat day after day on a makeshift bench by the devastated harbor, staring at the empty horizon. The whisper of the tides, now a cruel reminder. Young Sakura, barely out of her teens, had been studying marine biology in the city when the wave hit. She rushed back to find her family safe, but her hometown, the vibrant community she cherished, gone. Unlike Kenji's quiet despair, Sakura felt a fierce, burning resolve. She saw not just wreckage, but possibility. One sweltering afternoon, she found Kenji by the harbor. "Sensei," she began, using the respectful term for a teacher. "The sea took much, but it also gives. We must rebuild." Kenji merely grunted, his gaze fixed on the waves. "What is left to rebuild, child? Our nets are torn, our boat's gone. The fish will not wait for us." "But the sea is still here," Sakura insisted, her voice soft but firm. "And so are we. The land may be scarred, but the spirit of Hamamatsu, the spirit of the Umibozu, the sea monk, endures. We rebuild not just for ourselves, but for those who are gone, and for those yet to come." She didn't try to lift his spirits with grand words. Instead, she started small. She organized volunteers to clear debris from a small section of the shore, piece by painstaking piece. She found old fishing manuals, salvaged from flooded homes, and began to sketch designs for new, simpler boats that could be built with salvaged materials. She even started cultivating a small patch of salvaged seaweed, remembering tales of its resilience. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Kenji began to watch her. He saw her unwavering determination, her quiet optimism. One morning, he rose from his bench and, without a word, picked up a discarded hammer. His old hands, stiff with grief, found their rhythm again as he started straightening bent nails from a pile of wreckage. Others saw this. A carpenter whose workshop had been washed away began to sketch blueprints for new fishing huts. A group of women who had lost their communal drying racks started gathering driftwood, planning new ones. Children who had played among the ruins began to help sort salvaged rope and wood. It was a slow, arduous process. There were days of crushing despair, when the enormity of their task seemed insurmountable. But then, someone would tell a joke, or share a story of the old days, or a small fishing boat, cobbled together from scavenged parts, would finally be pushed into the water, listing slightly but floating. Each small victory was a collective breath. Months turned into a year. The harbor still bore scars, but new, modest boats dotted the water. Smoke curled from rebuilt homes. The familiar scent of drying fish, once thought lost, drifted on the breeze. Kenji, though still carrying his grief, found purpose in mending nets for the younger fishermen, his hands moving with the wisdom of generations. The lighthouse, repaired and repainted, once again cast its hopeful beam across the dark waves. Its light wasn't just a guide for boats, it was a beacon for the indomitable spirit of Hamamatsu. The great wave had tried to erase them, but the whisper of the tides now carried a different message, a story of resilience, of community, and of the quiet, unwavering courage to rebuild, not just structures, but hope itself.